Before you took your first breath, before your first breath filled your lungs, before your mother felt your first movement, even before your heart began to beat, your soul stood before Allah in that sacred moment, long before the creation of the heavens and the earth. Your soul entered into divine agreements that would shape every experience of your earthly life. These were not random choices, but sacred covenants written upon the preserved tablet and accepted by your soul in the realm of spirits. What you are about to uncover will forever change how you see your life. Every trial, every blessing, every heartbeat, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Let us begin this journey into the hidden truths your soul once knew, but has since forgotten. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, told us that Allah created all souls 50,000 years before He created the heavens and the earth. In that timeless realm, your soul was pure, conscious, and in direct communion with its Creator. There, beyond time and space, 7 sacred agreements were made. The first agreement, recognizing your Lord. The very first agreement was the foundation of all others. Allah gathered every soul that would ever exist and asked the most profound question in all of creation. Am I not your Lord? Every soul replied with absolute conviction. Yes, we bear witness. Surah Al-A'raf 7:172. This was not a mere statement, it was a spiritual covenant. Your soul acknowledged Allah as the only one worthy of worship, pledging to seek Him, submit to His will, and recognize Him throughout the journey of life. This divine promise explains why every human being is born with an innate awareness of Allah, what we call the fitrah. Even those who later deny Him still carry within them that original memory of the covenant. Your soul entered this world knowing that life would test that bond through doubt, temptation, and forgetfulness. Yet it trusted in Allah's justice, mercy, and wisdom. Faith, therefore, is not something forced upon you. It is something your soul chose before you were born. Every time your heart inclines toward prayer, every time you seek Allah's guidance or feel His presence, it is your soul remembering that first promise. This is why the call to prayer stirs something deep within. When the Adhan echoes across the earth, it is more than a reminder. It is a call back to that eternal covenant. Your soul recognizes those words because it once stood before Allah and made that very declaration. The tears that fall in prayer, the peace that fills your heart in remembrance. These are echoes of that moment when your soul testified to its Creator. Your soul also understood that this promise would not be easy. The world would offer distractions, false gods, and competing ideologies. Yet your soul accepted the challenge, knowing that Allah never abandons those who sincerely seek Him. The first agreement was not just an acknowledgement, but the beginning of a relationship, a journey of faith that moves from Islam, submission, to Iman, belief, to Ihsan, excellence. And your soul knew this journey was not meant for you alone. Every act of kindness, every effort to teach truth, every example of good character, all of these help awaken other souls to remember their own forgotten promises with Allah. As the Prophet said, the entire Ummah is responsible for enjoining good and forbidding evil. The second agreement, accepting the test of life. The second covenant your soul made was to accept the test of earthly existence. Allah revealed that life on earth would be filled with both joy and sorrow, ease and hardship, gain and loss. Your soul was shown the nature of this trial and accepted it, not as punishment, but as an opportunity for growth, purification, and elevation. This world was never meant to be permanent. It is a bridge between the realm of spirits and the eternal life to come. Your soul agreed to face challenges that would test your faith, your gratitude, and your character, knowing that through patience and perseverance, it could earn its place in paradise. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that no soul is burdened with more than it can bear. Your soul, in its perfect awareness, saw its own capacity and chose tests it could overcome. With Allah's help, every hardship you endure, every mountain you climb, every heartbreak you face, your soul already knew of it and trusted that Allah would guide you through. Ease and hardship would alternate like the changing of seasons. Wealth and poverty, health and illness, success and failure. all designed to reveal your true self and strengthen your bond with Allah. The rich are tested with generosity and humility. The poor are tested with patience and trust, and sometimes, the greatest tests arrive disguised as blessings. The promotion that breeds arrogance, the beauty that fuels vanity, the wealth that blinds the heart. Likewise, what seems like suffering may be the greatest mercy, the illness that draws you closer to Allah, the loss that detaches you from this fleeting world, the struggle that polishes your character. Every experience was chosen with divine wisdom, and your soul accepted it willingly. Your soul did not agree to face life's tests alone. It knew that every challenge would be accompanied by Allah's mercy and assistance. Guidance would come through revelation, strength through prayer and remembrance, and comfort through righteous companions. Your soul understood that every trial carries its own solution, every difficulty its hidden mercy, and every wound its purpose. The very fact that you are tested is proof that Allah sees within you a potential worth refining. The tests your soul accepted were designed to shape every aspect of your character. Tests of patience when life doesn't go as planned. Tests of gratitude when blessings arrive unexpectedly. Tests of faith when Allah's wisdom is hidden from sight. Tests of justice when you are given power or influence. Tests of humility when success tempts your pride. Tests of perseverance when the path becomes long and certain. Each experience was crafted with precision, meant to polish your heart and bring you closer to Allah. The third agreement, choosing your family and circumstances of all the covenants. Perhaps the most remarkable is this. Your soul chose its family, its birthplace, and even the era it would enter. This was not a random occurrence, but a deliberate selection made with full awareness of what each choice would mean for your spiritual evolution. Your soul looked upon the vast tapestry of human history and chose the parents, environment, and circumstances that would provide the perfect conditions for growth. If you were born into a faithful family, your soul chose that blessing to be surrounded by light early in life. It knew the value of hearing Quranic recitation as a child, of watching prayer performed daily, and of growing up with examples of faith in action. Yet it also understood the responsibility that comes with such privilege. That much is expected from those who are given much. If you were born into a family distant from faith, your soul embraced that challenge to strengthen its spiritual resolve. It knew that discovering Islam amid confusion would make your faith deeper, your conviction stronger, and your story more inspiring to others. If you were born into wealth, your soul accepted the test of generosity and gratitude, knowing that comfort can breed arrogance and attachment. It chose to learn how to use material blessings as tools for service, charity, and humility. If you were born into poverty, your soul welcomed the opportunity to develop patience, trust, and contentment. It knew that hardship would teach you reliance upon Allah and empathy for those who struggle. Your soul even selected your siblings, each one carrying lessons to refine your heart. The brother who challenges you teaches patience and forgiveness. The sister who supports you teaches loyalty and gratitude. The sibling who competes with you teaches humility and self-improvement. Every family member, even the difficult ones, was chosen with purpose to help you learn compassion, boundaries, and the art of love. Your extended family also plays its part. The wisdom of grandparents, the perspectives of uncles and aunts, the companionship or rivalry of cousins. All of these threads are woven into the fabric of your soul's education. Even the time of your birth was not accidental. Your soul could have chosen to live during the Prophet's era and witness revelation unfolding, or in the golden age of Islamic civilization, when knowledge and faith illuminated the world. But your soul chose this moment in history, with all its challenges and distractions, because it saw in this time the perfect opportunities to fulfill its unique purpose. Perhaps it knew that standing firm in faith amid confusion, holding on to truth when others waver, would bring you closer to Allah in a way no other time could. The place of your birth, too, was chosen with divine precision. If you were born in a Muslim land, your soul accepted the blessings of constant reminders of faith, the call to prayer echoing through the streets, the rhythm of Ramadan and Eid shaping your year. along with the responsibility to embody the beauty of Islam through your actions. If you were born in a non-Muslim country, your soul accepted the test of practicing Islam as a minority, knowing this would build resilience, sincerity, and courage. It understood that being a visible Muslim in a world of distraction would make your light shine all the brighter. Every detail of your origin, your family, your culture, your circumstances, was chosen by your soul with full awareness that these conditions would help you fulfill your divine potential. The fourth agreement, to experience love and loss. Your soul also agreed to experience love and separation, attachment and grief, connection and farewell. It knew that this world is a place of fleeting moments and temporary bonds, yet it chose to love deeply, knowing that every attachment would one day be tested by loss. This was not a cruel design, but a sacred part of your journey. Through love, your soul would taste the sweetness of mercy. Through loss, it would learn detachment from the temporary and yearn for the eternal. Your soul understood that joy and sorrow are both teachers, that every relationship, whether lasting or brief, would reflect something of Allah's love, wisdom, and compassion. Through love, you learn to give. Through loss, you learn to return. Through both, your heart learns to long for the only love that never ends, the love of the one who created it. Your soul agreed to love your parents, knowing that this love would teach you gratitude, respect, and compassion for those who sacrificed so much for your sake. It understood that your parents would be your first teachers, showing you not through words, but through example, what it means to put another's needs before your own. Your soul accepted that your parents would age, and that one day you would have to say goodbye to them. It knew that this loss, though painful, would deepen your appreciation for every shared moment and remind you that all earthly relationships are temporary. When grief fills your heart after losing someone you love, it is not a sign that something has gone wrong in your spiritual journey. It is proof that your soul's agreement is unfolding exactly as it was meant to. Grief has its own sacred purpose. It reminds you that this world is not your true home. It kindles your longing for the eternal reunion that awaits in paradise. It expands your empathy for others who suffer. And it purifies your heart by revealing both the beauty and fragility of love. Your soul also chose to experience friendship, knowing that some friends would walk beside you for a lifetime while others would part ways, teaching you lessons only temporary companions can. The friends who hurt you would become teachers of forgiveness and detachment, showing you how to let go with grace. The friends who remain loyal through hardship would reflect the beauty of steadfastness and remind you of Allah's unchanging faithfulness. Your soul understood that true friendship would be both a mercy and a mirror, strengthening you in faith, reminding you of your purpose when the world distracts you, and offering comfort and counsel when you need it most. If your soul chose the path of marriage, it agreed to both the joy and the challenge of sharing life with another. It knew that this bond would require sacrifice, compromise, and continuous growth in patience, kindness, and understanding. Your spouse would become a mirror, reflecting your strengths as well as your flaws, inspiring you to improve and to love more deeply. Marriage would bring moments of closeness and moments of struggle, dreams fulfilled and dreams deferred. But through it all, your soul knew it would learn the true nature of mercy, forgiveness, and unconditional love. If your soul was destined to experience parenthood, it agreed to the profound transformation that comes with nurturing a child. It knew this love would be unlike any other, a love that demands sleepless nights, endless patience, and boundless sacrifice. Through parenting, your soul would learn what it means to give selflessly, to guide without controlling, and to love without expecting anything in return. It understood that your children would sometimes bring disappointment and sometimes indescribable pride. Each experience a lesson in humility, forgiveness, and gratitude. Watching your children grow from helpless infants into independent adults would teach you about the stages of the human journey and the beauty of letting go. Parenthood would test your ability to balance love with discipline, protection with trust, and guidance with respect for their individual paths. Every stage of love, from parent to child, from friend to friend, from spouse to spouse, was chosen by your soul as a sacred means of understanding Allah's own attributes, His mercy, patience, compassion, and unconditional care for His creation. The fifth agreement, to seek knowledge and wisdom. Your soul also made a covenant to seek knowledge, to spend its earthly life discovering truth, learning wisdom, and growing in understanding. It agreed to begin life in complete innocence, knowing nothing of the world, and to gradually acquire knowledge through experience, reflection, and divine guidance. This was not a limitation, but a gift, a chance to rediscover, wonder, and grow. Your soul accepted the veil of forgetfulness, choosing to forget its pre-earthly existence so that faith would become an act of will rather than a mere remembrance. If you could recall standing before Allah and witnessing His presence, then belief would require no faith, only memory. By agreeing to forget, your soul ensured that every act of worship, every moment of remembrance, and every effort to obey Allah would be sincere, born from love and choice, not compulsion. Your soul agreed to seek knowledge of Allah through the signs He placed in creation. Every sunrise that moves your heart, every intricate flower, every law of nature, every scientific discovery, these are all lessons your soul arranged to help you recognize the majesty of your Creator. When you marvel at the night sky or ponder the precision of a single cell, your soul is remembering the One who designed it. These moments of awe are reminders of Allah's greatness, invitations to worship with deeper awareness and gratitude. Your soul also committed to learn from the divine revelation, the Quran. It knew that one day you would encounter its message, through reading, listening, or through others who share its truth. The peace that fills your heart during recitation, the clarity that comes from its guidance, and the comfort its verses bring during hardship, all were foreseen by your soul. Before it entered this world, your soul knew that the Quran would become your lifelong companion, a book that never stops revealing wisdom. Each reading would open new meanings, each verse another doorway into divine understanding. Even the pursuit of worldly knowledge was part of this divine agreement. Your soul chose to explore the sciences, the arts, history, mathematics, and literature, knowing that every field of knowledge, when approached with the right intention, would lead back to the awareness of Allah. In learning about the world, you are in fact learning about the One who created it. Every discovery, every innovation, every moment of insight is another step in fulfilling your soul's promise to seek truth wherever it may be found. Your soul understood that all true knowledge ultimately leads back to Allah. It knew that the doctor, in studying the human body, would witness the perfection of Allah's design, that the artist, in creating beauty, would reflect Allah's attribute of Al-Jamil, the one who is beautiful and loves beauty, that the scientist, in uncovering the laws of nature, would reveal the consistency and reliability of Allah's creation. Your soul agreed to use whatever knowledge and skills it gained as tools for service, to bring benefit to humanity and to draw closer to Allah through contribution and sincerity. It understood that knowledge is not just privilege but responsibility, and that those who are given understanding must share it, teach it, and use it for good. Whether you became a teacher shaping minds, a professional serving others, or simply a person who applies Islamic wisdom in daily life, your soul committed to making every act of learning a pathway to Allah's pleasure. The sixth agreement, to experience and master. Human emotion. Your soul also agreed to experience the full range of human emotions, joy and sorrow, anger and calm, fear and courage, love and disappointment. It knew these would not be random feelings, but divinely designed instruments for your spiritual growth, lessons that would teach you to understand the depth and complexity of the human heart. Your soul accepted that you would experience happiness in both permissible and forbidden forms, learning through contrast the difference between fleeting pleasure and lasting peace. It chose to taste the deep, enduring joy found in worship, charity, and sincere companionship, and also to witness the emptiness of worldly indulgence, so you could discern what truly nourishes the soul. It knew that true happiness comes not from what excites the senses, but from what satisfies the spirit, the peace that settles in the heart when Allah is pleased with you. Your soul also agreed to experience sadness and grief, understanding that these emotions would serve sacred purposes. Sadness over sin would lead to repentance. Grief over loss would remind you of life's temporary nature and awaken your yearning for paradise. Disappointment with worldly pursuits would turn your gaze from the transient to the eternal. The tears of repentance, the sorrow of falling short, and the regret that fuels renewal, all are part of your soul's curriculum. Through them, you learn humility, dependence, and the sweetness of Allah's mercy. Your soul also agreed to feel anger, knowing it would be among the most difficult emotions to master. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The strong one is not he who defeats others in wrestling, but he who controls himself in anger." Your soul understood that righteous anger at injustice could inspire noble action, but uncontrolled anger could destroy relationships and cloud the heart. Each time you choose patience over retaliation, forgiveness over vengeance, softness over harshness, you fulfill this pre-birth agreement to govern your emotions rather than be governed by them. Your soul also chose to experience fear, not as punishment, but as protection and as teacher. The instinctive fear that keeps you from harm preserves your life. The spiritual fear of Allah's displeasure preserves your soul. Learning to distinguish between fear that motivates and fear that paralyzes, between caution and despair, would become one of your soul's greatest tests and victories. Finally, your soul agreed to experience love in all its shades. Love of family, of friends, of spouse, and most profoundly, love of Allah and His Messenger. It understood that each type of love refines a different part of your character, teaching devotion, sacrifice, patience, and balance. To love without excess or deficiency, to attach without idolizing, to care without losing yourself. This is one of the highest forms of spiritual mastery. The seventh agreement, to fulfill a divine purpose. The final covenant your soul made was to serve a purpose within Allah's grand design. Your soul knew it was not being sent to earth merely for personal growth, but to play a vital role in the unfolding story of creation. A role chosen with divine precision. For some, that purpose might be visible and vast, to inspire, to teach, to heal, to lead. For others, it might be quiet and hidden, a word of comfort, a single act of kindness, a prayer whispered in the night that changes another's destiny. Your soul agreed to be a witness to Allah's truth, to reflect His light wherever you are placed. That witnessing might come through speaking and teaching, or simply through living Islam beautifully and authentically. Every time you show honesty in business, compassion in conflict, patience in trial, or forgiveness in pain, you are fulfilling this sacred agreement. Your character becomes your dawah, your actions your testimony, your presence a reminder of Allah's mercy in a world that often forgets it. Your soul also agreed to serve other souls on their journeys. You might be destined to guide a child, comfort a friend, heal the sick, teach the seeker, or silently pray for those in need. None of these encounters are random. Every person you meet, every heart you touch, every soul you uplift, these are divine appointments written long before your birth. Your purpose, whether seen or unseen, is part of a far greater design. One that began when your soul stood before Allah and said, "Yes, you are our Lord." And so, every breath you take, every step you walk, every challenge you endure, and every act of goodness you perform, all are threads in that timeless covenant your soul once made, and still remembers in whispers of faith. The fulfillment of the seventh agreement, living with purpose and remembering your covenant. Every opportunity to make a positive difference in someone's life, no matter how small it may seem, is a fulfillment of your pre-birth agreement to serve Allah by serving His creation. Your soul understood that these moments of service would not only help others, but would also purify your own heart and draw you closer to Allah. Your soul chose to face the challenge of enjoining good and forbidding evil within your particular circumstances, knowing that this sacred responsibility would require courage, wisdom, and steadfastness. It recognized that doing so would sometimes mean speaking up when others preferred silence, acting when others remained still, and maintaining integrity when others compromised it for fleeting gain. At times, this duty would be simple, encouraging a loved one to pray, or gently discouraging gossip among friends. At other times, it would demand great bravery, standing against injustice in the workplace, refusing corruption when everyone else surrenders to it, or defending Islamic principles in settings where they are misunderstood or even mocked. Your soul accepted these trials, understanding that every act of righteousness, in the face of difficulty, would strengthen your character and contribute to the moral fabric of your community. Your soul also agreed to be a steward of the earth and its trusts. It knew that wealth, time, skills, opportunities, and even the natural world would be placed temporarily in your care, and that you would one day answer for how you use them. The joy you feel when giving in charity is the echo of your soul remembering its covenant to share Allah's blessings with those in need, recognizing that nothing you possess is truly yours, but all is entrusted to you by the most generous. The sense of duty you feel toward caring for the environment is your soul recalling its pledge to treat the earth with respect, using its resources with gratitude and restraint, mindful of the generations that will inherit what you leave behind. Every act of fairness toward those under your authority, whether employees, students, or children, is the fulfillment of your soul's promise to use power and influence with justice and compassion. Perhaps most profoundly, your soul agreed to call others back to Allah through both word and example. Sometimes this dawah would be direct, through teaching, writing, or speaking. Other times it would be silent yet powerful, through the peace in your demeanor, the integrity of your work, or the mercy in your actions. Every prayer you perform in public reminds others of their own relationship with Allah. Every act of honesty in business demonstrates the living beauty of Islamic ethics. Every moment of patience during hardship displays the strength that faith provides. Every act of forgiveness reflects the mercy that Allah shows to His servants. Simply living as a sincere Muslim becomes a form of dawah, a gentle reminder to other souls of their own forgotten covenants with their Creator. When you understand these 7 divine agreements, your entire perspective on life changes. The difficulties you face are no longer punishments or random misfortunes, but opportunities to fulfill the contracts your soul willingly made, knowing they would refine and elevate you. The blessings you receive are not mere coincidences or rewards for effort alone, but gifts entrusted to you with responsibility, meant to be used in ways that please Allah and uplift His creation. The people who enter your life are not accidents of birth or circumstance, but divinely appointed companions, each one connected to you by threads woven in the realm of souls before your first breath. Every relationship, whether joyful or painful, brief or lasting, is a lesson, a chance to serve, to grow, and to honor the covenants your soul made before entering this world. When you remember these pre-earthly agreements, every moment becomes sacred. The morning prayer you sometimes struggle to wake for becomes a renewal of your covenant with Allah, a whisper of remembrance from your soul to its Creator. The patience you practice in traffic or long lines becomes training for greater tests of trust and surrender. The kindness you show to difficult people becomes a fulfillment of your pledge to assist other souls on their journeys. The knowledge you acquire, whether through study or experience, becomes a tool for serving Allah's plan. The pain of loss becomes easier to bear when you remember that your soul chose these attachments and separations as lessons in love and detachment, reminders of the temporary nature of this world and the eternal reunion awaiting in paradise. At frustration with your circumstances fades when you recall that your soul carefully chose these exact conditions for your growth, trusting Allah's wisdom in crafting every detail of your journey. Fear of the future lessens when you remember that your soul entered this life with full awareness of the road ahead and complete confidence in Allah's protection. Your soul knew it would never face anything alone, that Allah's help would always accompany those who seek it sincerely, that every test would come with its own relief, and every hardship with hidden mercy. Above all, Remembering these covenants restores your sense of purpose and dignity. You are not a random collection of atoms wandering through a meaningless universe. You are a soul that once stood before Allah, conscious, deliberate, and trusting, making sacred choices about the path it would walk. Your life has meaning because your soul chose it to have meaning. Every challenge, every blessing, every encounter, every breath, all are part of a divinely written story. And when you live with this awareness, you walk through the world not as a lost being searching for purpose, but as a soul fulfilling a timeless promise, a promise made in the presence of the Most Merciful. To live, to learn, to serve, and to return. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and to Him we shall return. Quran 2:156 Epilogue. Returning to the covenant, your struggles have purpose because your soul understood their value, knowing that they would strengthen your character, deepen your empathy for others, and draw you closer to Allah through your constant need for His help and guidance. Your existence matters because your soul accepted the responsibility to make it matter, to use your time, talents, and opportunities in ways that would benefit both yourself and others, while serving Allah's greater plan for creation. Every day brings new chances to fulfill the sacred contracts your soul made, to grow in the ways it chose to grow, and to serve the purposes it agreed to serve. The Prophet Muhammad reminded us, this world is a prison for the believer and a paradise for the disbeliever. For those who remember their pre-birth agreements, this world truly feels like a kind of prison, not because it is a place of punishment, but because they know they are away from their true home. Temporarily separated from the presence of Allah, they live in a realm of testing and struggle, rather than the eternal peace of paradise. Yet this world is also a school, a testing ground, and a precious opportunity. A place where you can fulfill the agreements you made, develop the qualities your soul sought to strengthen, learn the lessons it wished to master, and serve the purposes that will give your existence eternal meaning and value. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the knowledge that your soul chose this exact life, with all its joys and sorrows, blessings and burdens, relationships and responsibilities. Trust in the wisdom of that choice, even when you cannot see the full picture, or understand how your present hardships serve your ultimate good. Have patience with the process, even when it becomes difficult or painful. Remember that your soul made these agreements not out of ignorance, but out of perfect understanding of what they would accomplish for your eternal benefit. Know that your soul accepted these agreements not as burdens, but as gifts, sacred opportunities for growth, purification, and service, perfectly designed for your unique spiritual needs and the role you were meant to play in Allah's vast design. The 7 sacred agreements, the covenant of faith, your pledge to recognize Allah as your Lord and to live in willing submission to His guidance. The agreement of trials, your acceptance of earthly tests that would strengthen your character, purify your soul, and reveal your dependence on Allah. The agreement of family and circumstance, your conscious choice of parents, time, and place of birth, the perfect environment for your spiritual education. The agreement of love and loss, your acceptance of human connection and separation, to learn compassion, gratitude, and the temporary nature of this world. The agreement of knowledge, your commitment to seek truth, to learn from revelation and creation, and to recognize that all knowledge leads back to Allah. The agreement of emotion, your willingness to experience the full spectrum of human feelings, joy, sorrow, anger, love, fear, and to master them through faith and remembrance. The agreement of purpose, your acceptance of a unique mission within Allah's plan, serving as a witness to His truth and a servant to His creation. These 7 agreements are the foundation of your earthly existence, the framework within which all your experiences unfold and the key to understanding the deeper meaning behind everything that happens in your life. They transform every event into a lesson, every relationship into a divine appointment, every challenge into an opportunity for growth, and every blessing into a trust that carries responsibility. Remember them, honor them, trust in the perfect wisdom of the soul that chose them for you. Insha'Allah, This remembrance will transform not only how you see your life, but how you live it, with greater patience, purpose, and peace, until the day you return to the one who sent you. When you stood in his presence, before time began, your soul accepted this journey, with all its trials and triumphs, tears and joys, struggles and victories, knowing that every step would bring you closer to the ultimate goal, to earn Allah's pleasure and return to him with a pure and grateful heart. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and indeed to him we shall return. Quran 2:156.